Today we're going to delve into the fascinating world of sculpting facial expressions in clay. Capturing emotion in your sculpture can be a challenging experience, but when done right, it can breathe life into your sculpture. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 10 tips to help you master this art. Tip number 1, understand facial anatomy, starting with the skull. To convey emotion accurately, it's crucial to know how the facial features bend, stretch, and crease on top of the foundation of the skull. Study anatomy references to grasp how different muscles contribute to expressions. If you'd like more information on facial anatomy, then I definitely recommend the full course because we have several lessons that go over the fat pads of the face as well as the muscles of the head and neck. These are very helpful anatomical features to be aware of when you're sculpting the facial expressions. Tip number 2, have a lot of references. Collect images or sketches of the expression you want to sculpt. Having visual references will guide you in capturing those subtle details. As always, the more visual information that you have, the better. And so if you can get a turnaround, that's very helpful. Tip number 3, start with a solid foundation. This usually involves making a good block in, then adding on the side profile, the bony structures, and then capturing the likeness from the front view. By sculpting this basic face shape before we add the details, we can avoid some of those structural issues that we might have if we jumped right into sculpting the expression. This can even be sculpting the person with a neutral pose, with the face relaxed, and then adding the expression afterwards. Tip number 4, focus on the eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. Pay close attention to the eye's size, shape, and position to convey the emotion that you're going for effectively. Remember that the bony structure of the eye socket does not change. So the expression is all about the eyebrows, the upper and lower eyelids, the fat pads, and the skin around the eyes, and how these forms shift and move around in relation to the eye socket. Tip number 5 is working on the mouth and lips. The mouth and lips play a significant role when conveying emotion. This diagram of the buccinator muscle group shows just how many muscles are attached on and around the mouth. Don't forget the structure underneath the lips, the dental mound or the mound of the mouth. Though the jaw can change, can open and close and move forward and back a little bit, so there is some flexibility with the chin and jaw depending on the expression being made, and depending on if the mouth is open or closed or ajar. When smiling, the lips are pulled tight and stretched out over the dental mound. When the lips are puckered, they're pushed forward. Tip number 6 is experiment with the texture. Try different sculpting tools to create texture variations. Smooth skin, wrinkles, or a furrowed brow all adds depth to your sculpture. Remember that if you're sculpting a younger or more attractive person, the wrinkles of the face are softer and more subtle. Adding deep, dramatic wrinkles can make the portrait feel old or less realistic, especially if the forms of the wrinkles aren't sculpted well. Tip number 7, be mindful of proportions. Constantly compare your sculpture with your references to make sure that you're not losing the proportions of the face as you're sculpting. This is why building the underlying structure, like we talked about before, is so important. And when you do this, even when you're sculpting an expression that is asymmetrical, the underlying structure can still feel accurate. Those bony features of the skull give a clear indication of where the facial features need to be placed. Tip number 8, pay attention to transitions. Areas like the corners of the mouth and how the forms of the mouth and lips merge. For an expression when the mouth is open, this is especially important. Pay attention to those corners of the mouth and how the forms of the lips move into those corners. So the areas to pay special attention to are the corners of the mouth, the bottom of the nose and around the nostrils, and the outside corners of the eyes. Studying these transition areas will help you understand the subtleties of each expression. Tip number 9, use a mirror. Have a mirror nearby so that you can observe your own facial expressions while sculpting. This is a great way to capture authentic emotion and to observe some of the subtleties that you might not be able to see from your reference. A mirror can also help you check your sculpture so that you can see if there's any asymmetry that we often become blind to as we're sculpting. Tip number 10, make the expression you're sculpting. As you're sculpting and while you have that mirror, continually be making the expression that you're sculpting. Something interesting that happens when we make a facial expression is that we start to actually feel the emotions associated with that facial expression. If you start making a happy face, then pretty soon you start feeling happy. Same is true of an angry face or a sad face. So our body affects our mind in a really interesting way. Feeling this emotion in yourself and in your own face can help you imbue your sculpture with that emotion. Great art conveys meaning and invokes some sort of emotional response. So expression can be a great way to do that. Remember that practice and patience are your best friends in this creative journey. So pick up your clay and sculpting tools, let your imagination run wild, and bring your clay creations to life with emotion. Your assignment is to add some emotion to a portrait sculpture. For this, you can create a new sculpture or you can add some emotion to an existing sculpture. If you're really interested in portrait sculpting, then I hope you'll invest in the full course, which you can find at proko.com/portraitsculpt. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with your fellow sculptors. Stay creative, stay productive. I'll see you in the next one.